You're listening to the Late Night Football Show with your host, Rohit Singh. That's me. On this show, we talk about some of the most serious, least silly topics from the world of football for your entertainment and enjoyment. Please remember that the show is BYOL. Bring your own laughs, since we don't have the budget for a studio audience. Happy listening.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Late Night Football, and welcome to our first episode of the Matchday reaction show. This is a new concept that we are trying. We've been absent for a week, so this is kind of what we've been planning. So hopefully it's worth the wait for all of you who've been waiting, for all the 64 of you who wait for our episodes diligently. But we're here today. The first weekend of the Premier League took place last week, missing a few big clubs and Manchester City. But yes, no, I'm just kidding. But yes, but we had a lot. We had 8 games over the last weekend. So we're gonna kind of do. We're not gonna be able to review all of them, but we're gonna review a few of the matches today. And to join us, because it's our first match day reaction, it's only fair to bring in 2 of our OGs from our Premier League review show. So first up, we have Nishikant Sharma back on the show once again. Nishikant, welcome.
Hey guys, thank you. Hey, thanks Rohit for having me again.
Yes, you're now kind of like a super expert. You've been on this channel so many times now. I think I'll have to create a new honorary title for you of that.
Thank you. I'll take that. Expert might be pushing it. I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, no, it's the super expert, not expert. You're already an expert. But we also have back on the show Ayush Gupta. Ayush, welcome once again to the show. It's really great to have you again.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me again.
Yes.
On Late Night Football Show.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have a blast here.
Yeah, well, the first one created quite a stir, so we're gonna only see what to expect this time. And also joining us again is Nikhil. You might remember him from the Gabriel transfer reaction video. Nikhil, welcome once again to the channel and the show.
Hey Rohit, happy to be back. So yeah, excited for another show.
Yes, you are the Arsenal fan who's most excited for these shows usually. It's a tough time getting Arsenal fans on the show, so it's always great to have you. So we're not going to be able to do all of the matches this from the past weekend. We're going to pick 3 to talk about. Might get briefly into one of the other matches. Some of the other matches we'll see, but due to time constraints, we're going to focus on the 3. Now, I'll be honest and say that I was unable to watch any of the matches this weekend. I was unable to watch. On Saturday, I had a dental appointment, so I missed the Arsenal-Liverpool games, and then the Chelsea one, I was at work. I'm supposed to say that I was at work, and so I couldn't watch the match, so I'm going to say that because I've been watching. But no, I actually was at work, and I couldn't watch the match. But I'm assuming you guys watched the matches, at least the ones that your club are involved in. So I did do a little bit of research on the match reports and things like that, so a fair idea of what happened, but maybe you guys can provide more context to me and to any of the listeners who might have missed those matches. So we'll get into it. And let's start with the first match of the weekend. Let's start with Arsenal. We're going to call it chronological order. So I'm going to start off with you, Nikhil. First match of the season. What stood out for you from the game, from an Arsenal point of view?
Always the first match for Arsenal. It's a bit risky. Like in few of the past seasons, last season it went well, but few of the seasons we could even against the weaker oppositions we didn't do well. We dropped points, so it was a bit nervous. And again, this season is very critical for us. After a few seasons outside Champions League, it was very important that we are back to Champions League. So this match was a very critical, very nervous occasion, and it was also something which was full with hope, new optimism with Arteta in charge. So and I would say that the match would live up to the hope or the optimism we had. So we saw introduction of 2 debutants, Willian and Gabriel, in this match. Then the overall match, the performance-wise, it was really great. Defensively, it was very stable. There was hardly any hiccups which we expect in usual matches. Even when we were leading 1-0, there was not that vibe of tension. They are going to equalize. They are going to equalize. That was not there. And yeah, overall a good performance. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. You kept a clean sheet, which is quite a rare thing for Arsenal to do. Were you impressed with the defensive solidity?
Yeah, especially with Gabriel, except the first hiccups he had, otherwise he was really impressive. He stood out in the match. Apart from Gabriel, the overall defensive stability, the structure we had, there was hardly any chance created. It was Fulham to be honest, but still the overall structure maintained. I was really impressed by the defensive performance, and yeah, overall control we had over the game. It was really impressive.
Okay. I know Nishikant might have an interesting answer to this one, but do you think Chelsea will regret letting Willian go this season to
No,
Arsenal?
I don't think we'll regret. We got Hakim Ziyech in place, and I think he'll provide us things that Willian couldn't. But I do believe that Arsenal have made a very good signing in Willian, because he is a guy who would give you goals. He would work for the team. He's a workhorse, and we saw how well he played in the first game. I think he and the central defender Gabriel, they were the standout players. And also the tactics of Arteta, the way their left back, in fact Maitland-Niles, the wing back, he was playing as a center midfielder whenever they had the ball, and how he was going back to a back five when they didn't have the ball. I thought that was really nice from Arteta as well. So he's definitely someone to watch out for among all the managers that we have. And I think if Willian does well, because he's a player who's going to have a phase in the season where he would be frustrating. That's just what Willian is. When he's on song, he's unplayable. Otherwise, he can be frustrating. But even in those times, he would still work for the team. He would, track back and help defense and everything. So overall, he'll prove to be a very good signing for Arsenal. But I don't think Chelsea have anything to worry about in that sense.
Let's talk Nikhil. What do you think? Do you think Chelsea will regret selling Willian or letting Willian go this season?
So maybe in a short term, like their new signings will take some time to gel and start performing as a unit. So maybe in the initial part of the season, they might face some issues in creativity, for example. But maybe in a long term, if you look at a 2-3 year window, or even like over a whole season, I think they will be okay with the new signings, Havertz and Ziyech coming in and filling the creative void which Willian would be leaving.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about Chelsea signings in a little bit. But final question for you: was it a case? I mean, watching the game, was it a case of Arsenal being really good, or was it a case of Fulham being really bad? Because I'll just provide context that in our Premier League preview show, everyone picked Fulham to be relegated. Like, that was unanimous. So, quantifying that, do you think Arsenal? Was it a case of just Fulham having a really, really bad day in the office, or was it like Arsenal were really good?
So like in Premier League, you wouldn't say like all the like 20 teams they have really good standards. It's not like you go to any team you can score 5 goals and come back. So it's never like that. So even if you like don't put in a say 7 out of 10 performance in a week, you could be like frustrated. You could end up dropping points. So if you in the same match, I can imagine last season we going to Fulham, maybe taking a goal lead, then we trying to protect it, and then the mounting pressure, and it becomes 1-1. So like it usually happens. But the difference I could see that even at 1-0, we had the control of the match, and the one team which like looked next to score was always Arsenal. It was never like we were in a back foot and at any time. So I would say we were good, and I don't think Fulham was like bad or anything. Especially in the first half, they were trying competing, they were pressing hard, and I think in second half they were a bit overwhelmed by this scenario, and the pressing dropped off. But I think it was an average performance from Fulham, not very bad or very good, and I think our performance also, it's not like a 10 out of 10 performance, I would say, but it was an 8 out of 10 performance, and I think this level would like win some most of the matches in Premier League going forward.
Okay, well, that's really optimistic from you, and I hope that continues. But speaking of defense, and we're going to move on to Liverpool now. Ayush, we've talked about a great defensive performance from Arsenal, but what happened to Liverpool? 4-3, 3 goals conceded. I mean, that's just, it's un-Liverpool-like, is it, to concede 3 goals in a match? Like, what happened?
Yes.
And I remember, and I heard a lot of criticism for Virgil van Dijk. Like I said, I didn't watch the match, but there's a lot of criticism. So what happened?
He's crumbling. The wall's crumbling.
No. Klopp is the boss, and things will get under control. So, yeah, there was multiple reasons behind it. I mean, the defense looked everything shaky, complacent. maybe perhaps overconfident, lack of match fitness. So there were multiple reasons for it, but I think that the biggest reason was definitely lack of fitness. I mean, this is, let's not forget, this was the first match, and maybe the players were not ready for such an high intensity game, which Leeds United brought under Marcelo Bielsa. So they were everything which the pundits were hyping it up, and they performed to a very high level. So in the end, I'm just happy and relaxed that we came out as winners, because the defense was certainly not ready for such an onslaught. And yeah, match fitness was definitely a reason behind it. And then formation also. I mean, there was a lack of protection from the midfield as Henderson was coming. Yes, Jordan Henderson.
Yes, no, that's a point of contention. You said there are multiple reasons. I'm sure you might have. I mean, sure, I don't know. Did Klopp mention any of them? He normally likes to mention a lot of reasons for it when things don't go well. I've heard he has a lot of excuses.
Yes.
No,
The biggest, his excuse was definitely that we can definitely improve on the fitness, and things will get better only. I mean, organization was not as good as we are used to from Virgil van
Yeah, and
Dijk.
wind wasn't eastwardly as well.
Right. Wind
Yes,
wasn't blowing at all, I think. I mean, I think the defense was a bit complacent. I mean, they were not giving respect to Leeds striker Bamford, guys like Virgil van Dijk. I mean, individual errors from Virgil is not used to, I'm saying. So that was hopefully one off case, and it will not repeat again.
yeah.
And Gomez has certainly been unsteady since the restart of last season itself, from January onwards. So we are yet to find a proper combination with Virgil. Hopefully Gomez gets his form back.
Yeah, well, to be fair to Van Dijk, even championship defenders don't give Bamford a lot of respect, so it's fine. You know,
Yes.
yeah, but I mean, it's hard to say this about a team that scored 4 goals. They did score 4 goals at the end of the day, but do they need more variety in midfield attack, just in terms of like being able to deal with teams that pose these kind of challenges? Like Leeds, they're not going to face a lot of teams that are going to be like Leeds, but do they need more variety? When it comes to facing these teams, because let's not forget they lost to City as well, who play, I think, a very similar style. I mean, again, sure, they were all probably partying and they probably won. They won the title already, but still, City also pretty much overwhelmed them. And same with Chelsea, they also scored 3 goals, I think, in the last time that they played them. So, do they need more variety just to be able to deal with teams like this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the squad has been unchanged since past 3 seasons, so it could do with a bit of freshening up. The main sources of goal are still their Salah Mane combination with Firmino feeding them, so playing as false nine. So that is still very contagious. So yeah, Firmino definitely has to improve on his goal return now. I mean, the excuse can't be made that he's a false nine. He's the striker, and he should behave more like a striker. I mean, he's definitely looking gun shy, and he's not hitting the shots where he should be. I mean, he is always looking for the pass, and maybe he's shirking from his responsibility as a striker. So maybe Klopp needs to address it, because their players have become a bit too comfortable in their position. I mean, the first 11 picks itself almost every game if they are fit. So, and definitely that brings in a kind of complacency, and Origi and Minamino.
Which I think might be a problem for Liverpool.
Yes. I mean, that's why
Lack of squad
Timo
depth.
Werner was the biggest target and the one which got away. He would have slotted in perfectly.
Because not just for backup. Yeah, I think Werner would have been a good addition, and not just for backup, just also to get rid of complacency. Because right now, Van Dijk looks around him and sees that it doesn't matter if he gives 100% or not. He's going to start because there's no one of his quality to replace him, right? So, and that's true for most of the positions. So certainly every couple of years you need some new faces just to keep the competition level in your within the squad high, so that people don't become complacent. They don't think that I don't really have to give 100%. I'm gonna play because frankly, there's no other option for that the manager has. So that certainly needs to be addressed in Liverpool right now.
Yeah, there were poor performances all over the park. I mean, Trent, he didn't have a preseason at all. I think he was on leave or something. So this was his first competitive game, and against a Leeds team which is pressing all the time. Their wingers were creating havoc and just eased past both Trent and Gomez like they were not there. So you don't expect Virgil to be ever present every position. I mean, he can't diffuse every situation. So the others need to step up when it goes the tough going gets tough.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah,
For sure. But final thoughts. We remiss not to talk about Leeds because they obviously wasn't just a case of Liverpool being not at their best, but it was also a case of Leeds probably being at their free flowing best. Uh, we all agree. I think consensus is that Leeds are probably not going to get relegated this season. But where do you think? What do you think the ceiling will be for them this season?
the
Uh,
ceiling is pretty high for them. I mean, the definitely the game is a contender for game of the season, and the season has started only. So it was definitely a great game, and Leeds need to get someone in their defense. I mean, leaking 4 goals with 2 penalties. I mean, it's not going to be easy for them in the English Premier League. So they definitely wanted to sign Ben White from West Brom, I think, or so West Bromwich,
he's
yes.
not coming. Yeah.
So yeah, he's not coming. So definitely they need to get in some experienced head in the defense
Mm-hmm.
because those were sloppy goals which they even conceded. 2 penalties and Salah goal from set piece. So but definitely attack wise and midfield, they have a strong team, and with under Marcelo Bielsa, I mean they will give trouble to the best teams. But the ceiling wise, I think if they can finish in top 10, it will be a good season for them because other teams are improving a lot. I mean, teams like Arsenal, Everton,
Yeah,
Leicester.
top 10 I think is what they should be targeting, and that would be an achievement.
Yeah, Wolves also. I mean, they looked mighty impressive yesterday
Mm-hmm.
against, and Tottenham will definitely fall back. So I think, yeah, they can if they can finish above any big team like Tottenham or Everton. So who were the last season's big hitters? So that will be a great advertisement for Leeds. I mean, it's a big club. And a club with a great history. So it's great to having them back and once and have that passion again. So yeah, I'm waiting for Leeds games.
Nikhil, do you agree with the assessment of Leeds finishing top 10? Do you think they'll finish top 10?
I think that will be a bit ambitious considering the game style they have. Like they have like very high intensity, high pressing game, and competing that in Premier League. I think they will have some injuries. Maybe like it. I remember it's something similar to Klopp's first season may happen. Like even though the game style, the football was great, they didn't finish where they were expected to be. Like if seeing the game, so I think even if the game is good, they might struggle to have players fit throughout the season, and that might affect the season.
That's wonderful. So it looks like Nishi has a few issues with his video. So but hopefully we can still hear you, and we'll keep this
Yeah, I
going.
hope so.
Yeah. Yes, we can. So yeah, we'll just do audio. It's okay.
Perfect.
We have enough pretty faces. We just need to hear the thoughts, right? Final game for the of the weekend, Chelsea
Hmm.
against Brighton, and lots of signings for Chelsea. But Nishikant, were you happy with the way the team was set up yesterday?
Well, first thing is, we don't have all our players available right now. Okay, Pulisic is injured. Among our new signings, Thiago hasn't trained with us. He's still been in quarantine, and I think last weekend was the first time he trained with us. Ziyech is injured. So we kind of lack people, and I think Frank tried to make up for it as best as he could. I wasn't happy with the team when the team sheet came out. I wasn't really happy with it, and after the game, I think my fears were justified. Uh, I don't think Loftus Cheek really, I think he has been given quite a few chances and he hasn't really taken it. And even yesterday, he was really poor. I was very happy to see how Werner played. We obviously didn't, make enough chances for him. We couldn't pass the ball when we should have, so that's why probably he couldn't score. But yeah, I did see some positives from the game. I thought our defense was really good last night, with the exception of our keeper, of course. But the back four was pretty good. Even Kante looked really well. Better than how he finished the last season. And yeah, I think Mount did well. So we had players who performed well, players who didn't perform well, a mix of it. And I didn't expect a very free flowing football in our first game, because we barely have had a chance to train with the full squad. If media reports are to be believed, we still haven't got the goalkeeper we want, so our squad is not yet complete as well. But yeah, I wouldn't say I was happy with the setup, but I see positives in it. In our last game, I could see positives that I think would serve us well throughout the season.
For sure. I just want to mention two sound bites for anybody who's keeping track. So Nishikant said one that he didn't think that he thought that Chelsea didn't have all, like they were missing a few players, that they didn't have enough players, that they were short on players. Like never saw what they were short on players. And the second you said is that the squad is not complete yet. I'm just mentioning these 2 points for no reason whatsoever. Wink, wink. I'm just mentioning these 2 points if anyone wants to comments on that after all the players that you signed. But on that note, Reece James, fantastic goal that he scored. And we think that this is a big year for him. We've talked a lot about Phil Foden, we've talked a lot about Mason Greenwood. Kind of gone under the radar, but Reece James is another one of those prospects, isn't he, for Chelsea? Like, is this a big year for him? Because it looks like he's going to be first choice, right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. It's a big year for Reece. And I think it's not just a big year for Reece. I think it's going to be a big year for, quite a few of our youngsters. I think it's a make or break year for Loftus Cheek. I think it's a big year for Tammy Abraham, because these guys did well last season. But now that Chelsea have the opportunity to, replace them, go and buy someone better if they don't live up to the standards. So this is the season that they want to prove, they would like to prove to the manager that they belong here. And Reece certainly helped his case last night. I was watching the game and I thought, why did we sell Tariq Lamptey? The way he performed, the way he tortured Alonso. It's not a major task to torture Alonso, but still the way he did it was really inspiring. So I think Reece's the way Reece played last night, it justifies why we sold Lamptey, and didn't keep him with us. So yeah, I think we're gonna see Reece for a very long time at that right back position. He definitely looks one for the future.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned the goalkeeper situation. You talked about Kepa. Chelsea are close to signing a new goalkeeper, if reports are to be believed, Edouard Mendy. Do you think he's an upgrade on Kepa? Do you think that's the goalkeeper that Chelsea need?
Well, if you look at the numbers, and if you look at Kepa's numbers, it's so bad that probably you'd be an upgrade on him. So if you just go by that, definitely.
Ayush, myself, I'll nominate Ayush to be the upgrade, not me.
Yeah, he probably would be one too. So, but on numbers, definitely Mendy has better numbers, lot better numbers. If you see the goal percentage, Kepa's goal percentage was some 54%, goals save percentage, and Mendy's was 76. Same with the number of goals conceded versus the expectation. Mendy has better stats over there, but I'm not 100% sure if this is the goalkeeper who would win us the Premier League. Whether Mendy, I think maybe Mendy is a stopgap. But I'm hopeful, from what I've heard from few of the guys following, who follow the French league, that he's actually a pretty good keeper with some obvious weaknesses, like he parries a lot instead of catching balls, but he is commanding. And we definitely need someone who can command the box, because we lack that with Kepa. He's not going to come out and catch crosses. He's not going to be someone yelling from behind at the defenders to position themselves correctly. And those things Mendy can do. Yet to be seen how he adjusts to Premier League, and how good a shot stopper he will be. But I'm sure he'll definitely be an upgrade on Kepa. The only thing that remains to be seen is whether he's the one who can help us win the Premier League. Because I don't think, if you don't have a proper world-class goalkeeper, I don't think you'll win Premier League. And all the teams that have won Premier League recently have had really good keepers. So
Sure, yeah.
we'll see how he pans out for in long term. But for now, definitely we really need someone. Right now I just don't want to see Kepa in the goal. So just put anyone, bring John Terry and put him back again in the goal, and that'll be better option than Kepa.
Yeah. On the goalkeeper situation, Nikhil, I want to ask you this. We are now hearing reports that Emiliano Martinez is leaving Arsenal, that he's probably going to Aston Villa. I asked this question. I was surprised. He looks like a good goalkeeper, but you would assume Chelsea might have at least tried to make a bid for him. It's only £20 million, which is what, 2 million more than what they're paying for Mendy. Are you surprised that Chelsea didn't make an offer for him? Or do you think he's good enough to play for Chelsea?
I don't think we would try selling to Chelsea first of all. Like, we would rather not strengthen a direct rival in that front. Also, maybe Chelsea. It could be that Czech was here. Maybe he didn't.
Direct rival might be overestimating your chances.
Yeah. So
No.
maybe because of that. So yeah, I'm happy he didn't go to Chelsea. Like, he was a player who was brought from the Arsenal Academy, stayed here for 10 years. So it would have been difficult seeing him in Chelsea colours. So I'm happy he's going to Aston Villa than to a Premier League rival or competing club.
Yeah. Well, Nishi doesn't think that Arsenal are a Premier League rival for Chelsea. But we'll see how the season pans out. I think it's actually pretty interesting. One team that I'm pretty confident is probably not going to make the top four if things stand like this is probably Manchester United. I do not think they will make the top four with the squad that they have right now. But we'll see if that changes. We have a little bit of time, so we'll just talk a little bit about the games coming up this weekend. Actually, just one game coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that because I don't, even if we may do a match day preview show, but we might not have you guys here. So since we have two, the big game for this weekend is Chelsea against Liverpool. That's a big game. It has stoked a little bit of fire in the pre-match comments, but this is what Klopp said. He basically was criticizing the spending of certain clubs. He said that certain clubs, have quote unquote money. They're owned by oligarchs and nations, so they can spend money. Nishi, do you agree with that comment that Klopp made?
Well, Liverpool's owner is not really broke. They also have a very rich owner. But I think I understand where Jurgen is coming from. As a manager, you're the face of the club. You're the one who has to answer to the media and fans. And when people are asking why board hasn't shown ambition, they've had pretty much the same squad since last 2 seasons. So he has to come up with something, and he's just protecting his board. He's just protecting his club. That's what he's trying to do. It's a lame excuse, but Klopp, it's not something we've heard for the first time from Jurgen Klopp. So I think it's just that it should be taken with a pinch of salt, and you should just move on, not to focus too much on it.
Yeah. Ayush, your prediction for the score? What do you think will be the score this weekend? Liverpool, Chelsea. Do you think Liverpool will win, Chelsea will win, or will it be a draw?
Honestly, I'm not too sure about Liverpool winning this match because after watching the Leeds game, I mean, if we continue to show that kind of complacency, overconfidence, and lack of match fitness, then speed merchants like Timo Werner if Pulisic is also back, so they are going to kill us on the counter. I mean, Chelsea were
I
playing on
think
the counter only.
if we play like the way we played against Brighton, Liverpool is going to kill us. So Ayush is just, Ayush is a cautious man. He has seen the result against Leeds and he's cautious because of that. But I still think Liverpool is the better team. That's a team. We've signed like 7, 8 players already, and we now need to make them a team. So that's a process that's going to take time. Liverpool are well drilled. Klopp is a fantastic manager, and he has had the chance to work with these guys for like 5 years now. So he has a proper team. Chelsea have a bunch of individuals with their individualistic talents who are actually trying to become part of something. I personally feel that this game came up too soon for us. So I'm not very positive with our chances, and it's not because I'm trying not to say that we would win, because I'm worried I may have to eat my words later. Not because of that. I just don't think. I think Liverpool are in a better position than Chelsea at the moment. I still think we can win, but if I were to bet, I would say that if you ask me whom to bet on, it should be Liverpool.
Yeah. Okay, so both of you guys are. This is the reason why this channel doesn't grow, because both of you guys basically, like trying not to jinx. I know what's going on. You guys are not trying to jinx the team. So, oh no, the other team will win. Oh no, I know how this goes. But we have a new. But thankfully, yes, yeah, that's why the channel doesn't grow because it's all like there's no.
Now, had it been match day 15, you would probably have heard a very different and a more sure answer from me. But I just think this game came too soon for us.
Yeah. Thankfully, we do have a neutral voice on the show. Thankfully, Nikhil, who do you think is going to win? What do you think the result's going to be? Chelsea win, Liverpool win, or a draw?
Since it's at Stamford Bridge, I think Chelsea have a small chance, but I will still consider Liverpool as the favorites. Especially like I saw the match of like Liverpool and also Chelsea. Like Liverpool like it was like it must be like a wake up call to them. Like how especially in the defense, like be at the levels they were in the previous 2 seasons, and if they turn up the way they turned up in the last 2 seasons, I think Liverpool should be comfortably winning. But again, Chelsea's performance like I don't think I was not completely satisfied. Like they had the players, but to see the goals came from individual moments, like Reigns shot or the mistake from the uh, their defense. So I was not overly impressed by Chelsea. Like they were still a work in progress. So I think they wouldn't be ready for such a high intensity match like upcoming in the second game week. So yeah, I would edge Liverpool for this fixture based on what I saw last weekend, and unless again Van Dijk comes up with a performance like last match or against us in like end of last season, I think Liverpool is gonna win.
Probably, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that consensus is there. The only thing I will say is on this note is that you talked about touched on this. Liverpool got 2 penalties this last weekend. Chelsea got 1 penalty this last weekend. The only one of the team, Manchester United, did not get any penalties last weekend. So I'm just pointing that out that we are like behind. So I know there's a big over under on who gets penalties. So I think we probably have to do like a penalty count. I think each weekend. But anyway, Nikhil, quickly, which was the team that impressed you last weekend the most?
If you talk about all the teams, so one team which impressed me the most was Everton. So they went to Spurs home ground. The way they controlled the game, it's not like they hit 2 goals on the counter and won or anything like that. They completely controlled the games. They outplayed Spurs in midfield, and I was really impressed with few of the players, Alan, James Rodriguez, and even in defense, they looked much more stable with Alan protecting their back line. Like, and again, I was also like Richardson. He missed an obvious chance, but the way James was passing to Richardson, that I could see a chemistry building within that squad. So I was really impressed with Everton, and I expect a good season for them. So yeah, I was very really impressed by them.
Okay. So on that note, I hadn't planned this question, but I'll just ask that instead. Nishi, do you think Jose Mourinho will be sacked before or by the end of the season by Spurs?
That depends on who Spurs buy because they haven't really bought anyone. If they
Yeah.
go ahead and invest properly and get some good players, because the way Spurs played against Everton, I completely agree with Nikhil. Everton impressed me the most as well. The way Everton played it, if you were to ask someone who has never seen a Premier League game before, which of these two teams would be the bigger team, they would say Everton, the way they played that game. They completely controlled the game, and it was really good to see how their midfield overran Spurs midfield. So if they don't buy anyone, then I think Mourinho is doing the best he can. But if they go ahead and invest properly and get a striker, maybe a couple of players here and there, depending on what their weaknesses are, in that case, yeah, if this continues, the kind of performance you saw against Everton, if that continues, then I wouldn't be surprised if Jose is sacked before the end of the season. But if they don't really buy anyone, I don't think any manager can really do much with the team they have.
Ayush, which was the team that impressed you the most?
The team that impressed me the most was Wolves.
Wolves,
I
okay.
mean, they had a big match against Sheffield United, who are a very strong team under Chris Wilder, and they performed brilliantly. I mean, the combination of Adama Traore and Raul Jimenez, I mean, it's a world class combination, and I don't know why the bigger clubs are not going for both of them. They are in their prime. I mean, Adama Traore, man, he was burning defenders left, right, and center. He was playing full back, and still he was able to cover the whole pitch. And with just his pace and trickery, he is impossible to shrug off from the ball once he gets going. And they look the real deal. Wolves, I mean, defensively also they were impeccable. Their set pieces were great. They have the core is still the same. I mean, just they have lost only Matt Doherty to Spurs, and the rest of the squad is still the same. And they have signed new players from Portugal, a new striker, I think. I mean, so Nuno is a great coach, and he's a great tech squad of improving all the players. And Wolves were very nice. They played great football, very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of feels like La Liga from the late 2000s, doesn't it? Where you've got two teams kind of very much far ahead of everyone else, and you've got a third team that can maybe challenge in Chelsea, and then you've got like 5 or 6 teams that can all qualify for the fourth spot. You've got United, Arsenal,
Yeah.
who's that other one? Wolves, Everton, Spurs. Technically, you've got all of these teams that are like trying to get into that top four. So anyway, well. I know it's only one game, so there's lots of twists and turns to come, and things will happen. We might look back on this episode and wonder what the hell we were talking about. So we'll see how things go. But thank you so much, guys, for being here today. It's really, really awesome to have you once again on the show. I think we covered quite a bit of ground, and hopefully the people watching enjoyed this. But thank you so much for all the insight and analysis. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Rohit. Thanks for having us again. It's always a pleasure being here.
Yes, well, it's always my pleasure to invite you guys. But if you, everyone watching, if you like this video, please remember to like the video and also share it with your friends, family, anybody else that you think might benefit from watching this one. And also, please remember to subscribe to the subscribe button. We currently are just under 65 subscribers. We want to get to 70 by the end of this week. So help us reach that goal. I know it's very modest, but help us get to 70 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Please help us grow the channel. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again soon with another episode this week. Won't make you wait another week like last one, but we'll bring another episode for you soon. So stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well if you want to get updates for upcoming episodes and shows. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to that episode of Late Night Football. We need your help to grow this channel, so if you've been enjoying the show thus far, please do like and subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, drinking buddies, fellow football fans, and anybody else you know or don't know. We'd really appreciate it. Please also follow us on Twitter and Facebook via the links in the description below and spread the word about us. Take care.